Hi guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels here and welcome to today's video. This is the mid-year freakout tag 2021. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to do this, but I was looking for video ideas and I spoke to one of my booktube besties, Gemma, and she was like, just do it, it's going to be fun. So I have done it, excuse the noise in the background, and yes, you know me, I'm going to have loads of answers for each prompt, so it might be a little bit longer. Hopefully not too long, but you know me, I can't ever pick one answer for one prompt. I think there's only a few of them that have only got one answer. And those are probably the negative ones. So, hey ho. So, let's get on with the prompts. I will be good this time and link the prompts below. Seeing as I'm not tagging anyone, I don't have to write too much in the tag comments because you're all doing it. Most of my friends have done it. It's like one of the one tag videos I look forward to every year. So, I will link them below, and obviously, yeah, let's just get on with it. So, first one is, best book you've read so far in 2021. You guys knew the answer to this because if you've watched my video, the best books of 2021 so far, you would have already known the answer. It's Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I am going to try and not do multiple books from this, like use the same book for multiple prompts, but there is a character in this that's going to come up at some point. So yeah, this is easily by far my favourite book of the year so far. Because of my chronic pain, I find that it was perfect. It was like looking at a book and reading a book, and for the first time felt like someone got me. Just realised I'm going to change my answer to one of the prompts, but yeah, I really liked this book. It had a bit of sauce, which I love, a bit of rudeness, a bit of naughtiness. It had what it's like to have chronic pain. Yes, this girl in if you don't know about this book, I think everyone knows about it, but Chloe Brown has fibromyalgia. Now, I don't have that, but I have chronic pain because of nerve pain in my knee, which has been treated, but it still flares up. So I do have chronic pain, and it does cause chronic fatigue. And it's like, for the first time in a long time, I read a book where I felt listened to. Like, I felt like someone actually got what I was on about. How you have to change plans at last minute, how things aren't always the way. You can have some days where you just want to stay the whole day on the sofa because you're wiped out because of your pain or because of the exhaustion because of the pain. So yeah, by far this is my favourite book of the year so far, and I'm going to put this here because I know that I'm going to use it for a different prompt. Best sequel you've read this year. Obviously, Danny Brown's going to be one of them, but I thought I'd pick a different answer to this, and I'm going to go with the second book in the Mallory Blackman Noughts and Crosses series. You guys know I love this series, thoroughly love it. And Knife Edge, I think, is the second one, and it's one of my most powerful ones because it is about Seppi, and this is after Seppi at the end of Noughts and Crosses. I can't tell you too much because with sequels you can't tell you too much, but this is her life with her daughter, her baby daughter, and yeah, what her life's like after the Noughts and Crosses, and how her life's changed completely because of the end of Noughts and Crosses. Thoroughly loved this book. It was one of the best sequels I've ever read this year, and if I rave about any series this year, read the Noughts and Crosses series. It is absolutely incredible. So I'm going to put that one there because I'm not going to use that for different prompts, so that's going away. New releases you haven't read yet but want to. Little sneaky peek for August is TBRs, but I think I spoke about them. It's another two books that I spoke about in a recent video, and obviously it was on my book haul, which I think has only just come out, depending on what. But Someone I Used to Know by Paige Toon. Now, you guys know I love Paige Toon. Her book that came out last year was just like, can you see me now? It was just, oh my god. Her book came out last year, was set in Opticians, which is obviously where I work, and I loved it. This one strings so many bells for me. I bought it the day it came out, which doesn't happen very often. It's got foster caring in it. It just looks so good. It's got foster care in it. Look at it. It's also my most beautiful covers. I could use this for the beautiful book prompt, but I'm not, because I'm going to use some other books. But this is gorgeous. It's my favourite covers. I will also say that Paige Toon is one of my favourite authors because she's actually replied to my messages on Instagram. She follows me on Instagram. And when my sister Vicky was having a rough time and I said that I bought her a copy too, she was like, yay, and hope she feels better. And I thought, yeah. So I can't wait to read this in August. This is probably going to be my first August release. Then another book I bought full price because I loved the flat share. I love the Switch even more than the flat share, which I know some people, it's quite debatable. Some people have and some people haven't. So I wanted to buy this. I was debating whether to wait until it came out in paperback, but I didn't. I'm buddy reading it with the lovely Ange from Angie's Book Chatter. It is absolutely amazing. It's another book that's been all over BookTube. It's about a girl that goes on a road trip with her sister and she meets her ex-boyfriend. And oh, it just looks so good. Can't wait to buddy read this with Ange, and I can't wait to read this. So my August books are looking really good. I'm really excited. Number 4, most anticipated releases for the second half of the year. Again, I don't have one answer. I don't even have 2. I have 3 answers. One's by another favourite author of mine, which is by Bridget Kemmerer, who you know I love the Cursed Dark and Lonely series. Again, I could have used that for a sequel, but no, I thought it'd be different. But her next book is Defy the Night. It's not, because in that series, Cursed Dark and Lonely series, but it's a new book, a bit fantasy, but it's coming out in September. Then I've only just found out, so linking into this, the last in the Noughts and Crosses series, and it's been confirmed that it is the last in the Noughts and Crosses series. Endgame is coming out in September. I can guarantee that is going to be a book that I will be either pre-ordering or buying on the day, because I am loving that series. So that will be either a pre-order or order on the day, and probably Defy the Night will probably be the same. And then one that's coming out in October is Three Sisters, and that's by Heather Morris, who wrote The Tattooist of Auschwitz and Silka's Journey. Now I love those 2 books. I don't know whether that one's going to be as urgent, but I really want to get it. I heard about it coming out. I love The Tattooist of Auschwitz, although it made me cry. I love my wartime books, and I'm really looking forward to that. Now the next one, biggest disappointment. Now I was going to go with one of my Twisted Tales books that I read with Chloe, but then I thought, and I watched Simon's video, and I remembered a discussion that I had on one of his live chats at the start of the year in January with Tom Reads Things, who's gone a bit of hiatus at the moment. And this was one of the books, this is one of the first books I read this year, The Betrayals by Bridget Cummings. I loved the binding more than life itself, so I pre-ordered this, or I've got it very quickly. It is one of my most beautiful books, and look, it's stunning, but it let me down. In fact, it put me on such a bad feeling, because I got Chris to spend all this money on this book. I spent so much on it, and it's stunning, it's gorgeous, but I didn't get it, didn't like it, felt very let down by it. I've kept it because I did spend so much money on it, and I'm going to give it another go at another time. I just don't quite know when. It looks beautiful, but I don't know what to do about that. I feel very, very let down by that book. Biggest surprise. There's been so many surprises I've read this year. So many books I did not expect to jump out at me. But one of my most recent ones, another one that you've seen recently, it's one that I buddy read with the lovely Chloe from Chloe Reads Books, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Now I love Daisy Jones and the Six, but I did not expect to love this as much as I did. It is probably my second favourite book of the year so far. I flew through it. Me and Chloe could not believe how much we loved this book. I'm keeping it forever. I now am still debating whether to buy Malibu Rising in hardback or whether to wait until it comes in paperback, because it's had mixed reviews and I don't know what to do, but I love this so much, and did not expect to love it this much. It talks about the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It's been all over BookTube for years. I did not expect to love it as much as I did, but when I loved it more than I ever thought possible. Historical fiction, rock and roll, strong female characters, racism, LGBTQ+, everything is packed into this book, but it's done in such an amazing way. Dual timelines, just everything that I could ever love in a book. Yeah, I really love that book. So yeah, I did not expect to love that so much. Newest favourite author, debut or new to you? Again, I've got loads of authors that I could speak about. I've got loads of authors that I've read a lot of this year. But one that's jumped out at me, and her book is lower down in the pile because I'm using it for another prompt, one that I did not expect to love this year, is Daphne du Maurier. I love Jamaica and I read that this year. I love Frenchman's Creek. I love her gothic style. I'm remembering how much I love Rebecca, and I want to reread Rebecca at some point. I love her dark gothic style, and she is now a new favourite author to me. Yes, I've got a load of contemporary authors that I'm loving, and you'll see them coming up in several books. But Daphne du Maurier is the one that's jumped out at me. So it'll be interesting to see if this one changes by the end of the year, because there is a few authors that are sneaking. There's a few authors that I could have said, but I haven't really read enough, and I'm debating them. So I wonder if there's going to be, at the end of the year, what's going to come up as the answer to that, because that could be interesting. Have we got an end of year where it's like it says a tag video at the end of the year, so I can already start planning it for favourite authors? Let me know in the comments below. Newest fictional crush. I'm going with Max from 1,000 Stars and You. I love him. Now, you guys know that I've got regular crushes on. I've got crushes on several book characters, but this guy jumped out at me. It was one of the first books I read this year, and it's about Max, who has got a disability. He's had one of his legs. He's only got one leg, basically, because of being in the war. And he had a devastating injury, and his strength in this book, he sounds sexy because he looks like a strong man, and you know I think about my strong, tough guys. Don't know how Chris Gouts did that, but you know. But yeah, he sounds sexy in this book, so well, if that makes any sense, because when I read my books, I do picture characters. I have images in my head of what they look like. And I think for me, another reason why I loved him in this book, and this is another book that nearly got to my favourites of the year, but it missed it just by a little bit, because the way he tackles his disability, the way he tackles his own chronic pain, the way he tackles stuff, and his strength, and some of the things he says to the leading lady Alice in this about her scars, the way he talks about scars, I loved him. He sounded sexy, but he also had the caring side, and I'm allowed to have a crush. I'm sorry, Chris, but yeah, I love him. Newest favourite character. Well, I'm going to be honest. Obviously, Chloe Brown from Get a Life, Chloe Brown. But I've got two others because I don't go easy. Danny Brown from this, because take the hint, Danny Brown, because she is feisty, and the way she tackles her own problems, and she's kind of got her own ways of doing things, but I did love her. So that's another one. I'm wondering whether Eve Brown, the next book, is going to be the same. But then I've got another character who I haven't spoken about yet. Another book that could be in that's in my top favourite books of the year, Wives and Daughters. But my favourite character in this is actually Molly. I love Molly. I love the way she is so close to her dad, and I miss my dad so much. But the way she stands up to her stepsister, the way she is in her relationships, the fact that she is quieter, and obviously back then girls had to be do as they were told, but that she's got a strength in this. Her loyalty to her stepsister, her loyalty, and the way she fights back with her stepmother, and the way she relates to, she's got another family that she's close to. I just love her. I really love Molly. So yeah, I could relate to her. I think she's the one that I love because of who she is. I think she's sweet and kind. But Chloe Brown's obviously the one that I love because I feel the most similarities. So they're both really great, strong characters. I'm going to bring my pile over because the next questions are over here. So yeah, you know me, I don't ever go easy. And then books that made you cry. Well, I'm a big wimp. I'm very emotional. I cry very easily. Obviously, another one I only read last month, but this one jumped out at me because I really did cry. The Courage to Care, A Call for Compassion. Obviously, if you guys saw my wrap up, you would have seen why I cried. This is about nursing, and I think reading this, because it was written, some of the bits were written during the first COVID crisis, and when she went back to work in the NHS as a nurse to help out because of the COVID crisis. Those COVID related stuff that was said in it made me cry because it still feels very close to home. Some of the nursing stuff that she goes through, it's very raw. Now, you guys know I've been in hospital a fair bit over the last 5 years, in and out for different operations, and it was the nurses that kept me going. Yes, the doctors were the ones that fixed me, the surgeons were the ones that fixed me, but without the nurses' compassion, without some of the caringness of the nurses, I wouldn't be where I am now. You know, they were amazing. They work so hard. My cousin is one of the senior nurses at a hospital near me. I've got friends that are nurses, and I think I have the utmost admiration for them, and Chrissy Watson's books made me really cry. It made me think about what these guys have gone through, what they have put. Every key worker put their lives on the line for us in COVID, and I thank every one of them for what they did, and this one made me cry. I'm not going to go on because I'll start crying again. I don't want to do that. Another book I read, because I got it from Andrew's book chatter. I need to read the next one in the sequel, which is another answer, but I didn't bring this with me. But Before the Coffee Gets Cold. It's a short but sweet book. I read it in a day, but there is three stories in this. And obviously, I'm sure it's another book that's been all over BookTube. You already know that in a small back alley in Tokyo, where there is a cafe that serves coffee. Before the coffee gets cold, we meet 4 visitors, each of whom are hoping to make the use of the cafe's time-travelling offer in order to confront a lover who's left them, receive a letter from a husband whose memory is beginning to fade, and see the sister one last time, and get to meet the daughter they never knew. But the journey into the past doesn't come without risks, and this made me cry. I won't tell you any more, but it made me cry a lot. But it's bloody good. Name a book that made you happy? Another book that I've raved about, Patchwork Family by Cathy Brownlee. This made me happy because of the family element, the fact that it's not family doesn't always have to be blood, about the mixed generations, about the storyline. I loved this book, loved it. It made me really smile. Loved the community aspect, that made me smile. One that made me crack up laughing, and you guys predict this one as well, Why Mummy Gets Sloshed. Loved this whole series. This book made me wet myself laughing nearly at times, not dangerously obviously, but you know, this book made me laugh. If you want a book that gets motherhood in every which way, through the good, the bad and the ugly, read this book. If you're a mum and want to know what it's like, if you want to have a laugh, read this. It's friggin' made me crack up laughing. Now the next one is, I have to go and move my books around. Most beautiful book you bought this year or received. So I've got 2. Kind of like me or Chris bought this. I'm not sure whether Chris bought it or I bought it, but Frenchman's Creek. So obviously, definitely tomorrow. But I love this edition. I think it's stunning. I've shown that the rogue there. Then this is the one that Charlie from Charles Heathcote got me for my birthday. And oh my God, it is like, he bought me 3 books and this is absolutely stunning. I think I'm going to be reading it either September or November, I'm not sure. But it's stunning, it's beautiful. One of my favourite colours, red. It's just got everything. It is so stunning. I couldn't not include this. I love this book. Love it, love it, love it. Can't wait to read it. And after watching Gemma's review of it, I have to read it. And now the last one, finally here. What books do you need to get read by the end of the year? So number 1 is Ruth by Elizabeth Gaskell. Yay, Chris let me order it. Yay. I spent a bit of money, got it second hand on ABE Books. It's on its way. I'm going to be reading it for Victober because it's the last Elizabeth Gaskell main novel that I don't have. Can't wait to read it. Can't wait. But it needs to be read by the end of the year. This one I've had on my shelves for ages, but it scares me because it's supposed to be so emotional. I've watched it on Berners channel, Berners Bookish Adventures. It's a chunky book. I need to get this read. I think I said I'd buddy read it with someone, but I can't remember. But I need to get this read. It's been on my shelves too long and I need to confront it. Then lastly, a book that I won in a giveaway last year, City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. This copy is beautiful. It is absolutely stunning, and it's become from the surprise. It's beautiful. Set in New York in 1940, young, glamorous, inseparable Vivian and Cecilia are chasing trouble from one end of the city to the other, but there is risk at play, and that's what makes it so fun and so dangerous. Looks really good. I want to get this read. Don't know when I'm going to read it. If any of you want to buddy read it with me, let me know in the comments below. Anyway, this is a bit longer than I'd hoped, but hey ho, you know me. Let me know in the comments below if you've done this video and I want to watch it. If you're not doing the video but you want to tell me, please let me know what your favourite book of the year so far is and what your biggest surprise is. That would be 2 interesting ones to ask you. Anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling. And I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.